university just taking a mix. So, slight update for you. My university are actually going to scrap the COVID testing by the end of February. But for some reason, we still have to wear masks. They're not scrapping that. So any time we go inside a building at university for our lectures and our seminars, we still have to wear masks. Why? What evidence do they have that the government doesn't have?
Well, that's right. But also the mask mandate in England was lifted by the Prime Minister 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. And I think this isn't just a Durham problem. I think this is an educational problem. These unionists, these academics and these teachers think that they know better than the government, and what they're doing is they're putting politics before young people's education. I mean, there's about 200,000, I was speaking to Neil Oliver earlier as we come in, 200,000 children are still wearing masks in schools. It's just ridiculous. I mean, us young people, we needed the restrictions the least, so why are we the last to get our freedoms back? I don't...
Yes, can you tell me about the impact on your learning of wearing a face covering during a lecture or previously at school?
Well, obviously, I had that infamous video that came from GBNews, which I think made it pretty clear, but it's so difficult. We can't communicate with our teams properly. We can't communicate. When I was in sixth form more so, we couldn't communicate with our teachers. And it's the fact of, in university, you know, that I love, they go on about diversity and inclusion, don't they? What about those international students that come from foreign countries that don't speak brilliant English and struggle to understand people like my accents normally, let alone with a face mask on? I
struggle. I can't understand the word she's saying as well, Mark. Just say that right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Where's the diversity there? So that's not helpful. And what about young people that have, you know, hearing impediments or other sorts of learning disabilities? What about them? You know, all of these people that preach inclusivity and diversity and all of this nonsense are then trying to keep us locked down with face masks. And young people's education has been destroyed for nothing. We saw lately that the 0.2% these lockdowns had overall, and what adds insult to injury more than anything is that the people that have ruined my generation's education got knighthoods for doing it. And they should be stripped of their knighthoods. And
Tommy Sandu, did you go to university?
I did. I was president of my
We were talking about this earlier.
At Bournemouth University. Loved it. But I was there for very different reasons to Sophie. The education was very much secondary to partying and going out and copping off. You know, masks would have just got in the way of what I was at university for very different reasons. But I had a good time at university. Sophie's university experience, we were just comparing, asking, Soph, but what about bars and clubs? And she was like, nah, I ain't got no time for that. I go to seminars and I get out of there. You know, do what I got to do. Bosh. You know, look, these youngsters now,
most of the time,
very different.
we couldn't, you know, I've literally just turned 20 last week. Most of the pandemic has been what are supposed to be the best years of my life. And we couldn't do all the nonsense that you were doing at uni because we have to social distance.
Exactly. And I felt, honestly, because I really did, I loved university so much. And the social side of it was, I think, what made me me. Because when you get to university, you're 18 years old, you're still a kid. And in those years, you form your best friends ever. And I think restricting how much people can socialise, the mask wearing.
It's really hard to make friends at uni because, like, we're not allowed to, you know, take off our masks, and it's awkward. Like, before you just go up to elections, everything is just so difficult. Making friends, socialising, you're learning, and we're paying $9,000 for the privilege of doing so.
Yeah. I worry about what that toll would really be in years to come. And when I heard people, you know, didn't get to do Freshers' Week. Freshers' Week was great. You know, if you didn't get to do that and all the shop drinking and everything else, I think you've really missed out on a big part. Even the social side, even not drinking.
That's a really good point as well.
It's a big part of it.
We're not going to get over these problems for a long time. You know, it's the exam cancellations was something that destroyed me pretty much, and because mine got it cancelled twice. And these problems that we're going to see aren't just going to be gone with my year group or the year group before me or the next year group. It's going to take an entire cohort of secondary school kids, at least potentially primary school kids, to get over the damages of lockdown. I mean, these damages are going to go on for years and years and years. Yes, these restrictions are scrapped, but now it's time to turn our heads and get justice.
Mike Parry, you attended Nottingham Trent University. There's probably a bust of your face somewhere in one of the university buildings.
Yes.
A mural, perhaps. Maybe your name is chiselled in concrete somewhere.
Well,
but I don't know, Mike. Unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, I'm not sure there's any point going to university these days.
Well, I was just about to say that. I'd like to know if Mr. Hillary, this is the hedge fund guy, he's given $7 million. Did he go to Durham and say, look, unless you stop all these ridiculous restrictions on students now, I'm going to withdraw my money? Or did he just decide that the policy was pathetic anyway and didn't give a warning and just withdrew his money? I like this guy a lot because, as Sophie's already pointed out, whenever he goes to the university to, give another 100 grand, he puts a huge amount of money behind the bar and just lets the students, get blatherated all night long at his expense. He went to Harrogate grammar school before he went to Durham University. So he's made a really good stock, this guy, from the north of England, and he's got every right to do it. He's a big, big player. He's been in the Sunday Times rich list. Now, you've got to have about 50 million quid just to get to the bottom of the Sunday Times rich list, so he knows what he's doing.